you millions and billions and zillions of dollars. Alright, I'm recording. Steve Jobs, in the book. Buy it now on the Amazon link below. This is an awesome game. It's going to be a modern classic. It's called Love Letter. You might be looking at this and thinking, this doesn't look like the Love Letter that I've played. And you're probably right. There are lots of different versions of this. Just like anything that's good, there's going to be multiple different versions of it. They all work the same. They just got different themes, different artwork. This one is the Kanai Factory Limited Edition. I'm going to put the link down there below to Amazon. It's really inexpensive, and for the amount of fun you're going to have with this, the amount of play you're going to get out of it, it's a really good deal as far as these type of games go. So let me show you what makes it a classic. So inside the box, we've got the instructions. Very simple. You're going to see there's not much that you have to learn. And that's one of the great things about this game. I was recently working at a summer camp, and I was teaching kids around in the like 10 to 14-year-old age range this game, and they loved it. It was the perfect level of complexity, the perfect level of replay value, and they had a ton of fun with it. So the game only has 16 cards in the deck, and I'm going to show you those in just a minute. These are card references. You can just sit these in front of you to just have a reference of what the cards do and what their scores are, etc. Let me show you one other thing. There are a couple of bonus cards with this game. And we're going to see them below. So, to start with, the point of this game is you are trying to win the affection of the princess. There's the princess. So, to do that, you have to win rounds. The game is divided into rounds, and these are the tokens of affection. If you win a round, you get a token of affection. You can play it as short or as long as you want. So if you want a short game, I would say the first person to 3 tokens of affection wins. If you want a longer game, the first person to 5 tokens of affection wins. The game is for 2 to 5 players, so you can play with anywhere between, 2 and 4 players can play this. And the game itself, once you figure out how to play it, which doesn't take long at all, is only about 20 minutes long. So 2 to 4 players. One thing that I really like about this game is you can teach it to someone super, super fast. And here's how you do it. Let me just take out a couple of these cards. Okay, so there's going to be 16 cards. You're going to see that there are 5 soldiers. Give you a close-up look at that. 2 clowns. 2 knights. I can't find the other knight. I may have lost the card. That stinks. Oh no, it's right on the top. Okay. 2 priestesses. 2 wizards. 1 general. 1 minister. And 1 princess. So you can notice that the cards have scores on them. Soldiers worth 1, clowns 2, knight 3, priestess 4, wizard 5, general 6, minister 7, and princess 8. So the game starts like this. You take the 16 cards, shuffle them. It's not much really to shuffle, but you just go like that. Alright. And let's say I'm playing with 1 imaginary person. No, 2 imaginary people. Each person gets 1 card. The rest of the deck goes in the middle, and then you take 1 card from the top of the deck and you remove it, take it out of the game. It's just like burning a card in poker. It creates mystery as to what's left in the deck. You never know exactly what's left in the deck. So to start out the game, you can choose whoever goes first any way that you want to. You can say whose birthday is the soonest, something like that. So each player can look at their card, and they take turns. So take a turn. You draw 1 card off the top of the deck, and then now you have 2 cards. You choose one of them to play. Each card has a different ability. So we looked at the different cards. The soldier is the lowest ranking card, and he lets you guess what another player has. If you guess right, they're out of the round. A clown, number 2, just lets you look at someone's hand. Number 3 is the knight. It lets you compare hands with someone secretly. The person with the lowest rank is out of the round. Number 4, the priestess, gives you immunity until your next turn, so you can't be targeted by soldiers, clowns, knights, etc. Number 5 is the wizard. It can force any player, including yourself, to discard a card and draw a new card. The general lets you just simply change hands with another player. The minister, I'll get to him in a little bit because he requires a little bit of explanation. And the princess is just meant to be protected. The princess is the highest ranking card, which it's good to have high ranking cards, but she's also vulnerable. You just have to protect her because if you discard her, you're out of the round. So the way this works is you choose one of your 2 cards and you play it next to the deck. And that has an effect. The effect is until my next turn, ignore all effects that target me. So these other 2 players, until it comes back to me, cannot target me with a soldier or wizard or anything. I'm safe until my next turn. So let's say I'm the next player. So I'm going to draw another card. Now I have 2 cards. I'm going to choose one of these cards to play. So let's do the soldier. The soldier is the most common card. I'm going to take it out of my hand and play it in the middle. And what the soldier does is, I like to think of him as coming and banging on the front door and calling out the characters. You can guess what any other player has. Throughout the course of the game, you're going to get clues or just outright information as to what other players have. You can just directly say, I know you're in there, wizard, come out. But for right now, it's just kind of a wild guess. The only thing that a soldier cannot guess is another soldier. I like to think of that as brothers in arms. They can't call out other soldiers. They don't turn on each other. Soldiers protect other soldiers. They won't rat out other soldiers. So right now, what I'm going to do, since this player doesn't have any knowledge of what are in the other people's hands, I'm just going to guess something randomly. I'm just going to guess that this person has a wizard. So what I would do is I would say, player 3, I think that you have a wizard. Player 3 doesn't have to show his card, which is a minister, but just has to say out loud to everyone whether or not the card that he's holding is a wizard. In this case, it's not, so he says, I don't have a wizard. And it's the honor system. You gotta, just trust the players that you're playing with. If this was a wizard, this player would be out of the round, and it would be down to these 2 players to finish the round. So a round is very short. People sometimes feel like they're getting kicked out of the game early, but the round is just very short. Someone wins a token of affection, and then you start another round. So now it's player 3's turn. He has a minister. He's going to draw another card. It's a soldier. So now this player has a minister and a soldier and has to choose one of these to play in the middle. Now, this is a good time to talk about the minister. The minister is a high-ranking card. It's 7. It's the highest-ranking card next to the princess. However, you don't want to play him. Sometimes you'll be forced to play him, but it's better to give this to someone else early in the game, or just not play it. So you win the game either by kicking everyone else out of the round, you win the round by kicking everyone else out of the round, or if you get to the bottom of this deck, the cards are all gone, and there's still more than one person in the round, it's whoever is left with the highest ranking card. So about half the time, it ends up with just everyone but one person getting kicked out of the round, and about half the time it gets to the bottom of the deck, in which case everyone turns the remaining card face up, and whoever has the highest ranking card wins. So if you're already near the bottom of the deck, and you have a minister, he's actually pretty good, because if you're still alive at the end of the round, his score is worth 7. The only person that's going to beat you is the princess. However, early on, you never want to play him, because if you're forced to play him, what he does is he sits in front of you for the rest of the round and glares at you menacingly. He's the only card that doesn't get played in the middle. He gets played in front of you. His job is to destroy you if your power becomes too great. So what he says is if your hand ever has a total of 12 ranks or more, you're out of the round. So in this situation here, we definitely want to play the soldier, because we don't want to play the minister. We're just going to hold on to him. So we're going to play the soldier, and it lets us take another blind guess. So this player 2, guessed that player 3 had a wizard, and he was wrong. So what this player is going to do, let's just say that this person is going to guess that this person has a wizard. So this person is going to look at their hand, and they have to admit to it. They have to say, it is a wizard. This player is now out of the round. So now it's between these two players. So now it goes back to this player's turn. He now has a priestess and a general. Now what the general does, if you play the general, you would have to put him in the pile, and then it would let you exchange hands with any other player. So we're going to do that. Now, this player has the priestess, and this player has the minister. It turned out poorly for player 2 because now he has the minister, but there is an advantage to that. The advantage is that now player 2 knows exactly what player 3 has. Because he used the general to switch hands with the other player, he knows that player 3 has a priestess because he's the one that gave it to him. So if player 2 draws a soldier, he's going to be golden because all he has to do is guess that he has a priestess. Unless player 3 plays the priestess first. So player 2 is taking his turn. Player 3's turn is now a soldier. So now the choice is between soldier and priestess. Player 3, because I know that player 2 knows what I have, I'm going to go ahead and play my priestess. So now player 2 no longer knows what player 3 has. Player 3 is now safe from any effects until his next turn. Goes back to player 2. Draws a card as a soldier. So don't want to play the minister, so you're going to play the soldier and guess. Now, when it gets down to it, you can kind of figure out what people have. There's already been one wizard played, there's already been 2 priestesses played, so I'm definitely not going to guess priestess. I know that he doesn't have a priestess, because both priestesses have already been played. It's less likely to be a wizard, because one of the 2 wizards has already been played, and I can't guess soldier. So that leaves clown and knight. We haven't seen any clowns or knights yet, so I'm just going to guess clown. Player 2 is going to guess that this player has a clown. It's not a clown, so the game proceeds. Now it's player's 3 turn. He draws a card. Now he's got 2 soldiers, a very easy choice. Now player 3 is going to guess. We still haven't seen any knights. So player 3, let's guess that player 2 has a knight. It's not a knight. So, and actually now that I think about it, player 3 would have known that this is a minister because when the general was played earlier on, the minister was transferred from this hand to this hand, and there's only one minister in the deck. So player 3 should have known exactly what this card was. It was the minister. So what player 3 could have done is played his soldier and said minister, knowing exactly what this player had, minister, and now he's the last one left in the round, and he wins a token of affection. If he had not remembered that, or if he had not been paying attention, he might have guessed knight, and he would have been wrong. I've done that plenty of times. It's a game of deduction. You have to deduce what the other players have, and it's also a game of paying attention. I don't know what better word to use for it. You have to pay attention to what's going on in the game, because sometimes what 2 other players are doing, even if you're playing it with 4 players, 2 players might do something that results in you gaining knowledge about what they might have, or it might narrow down the choices of what they have. So there's 2 ways that you can play it. You can either play it with, I call it looksies or no looksies. So if you're playing no looksies, when the cards get played, they just go on top of the pile, and you can't look through it. You just have to remember what's played. It adds a memory aspect to the game. If you're playing looksies, again, that's just what I call it, then you put out the cards like that, and you can look through, anyone can look through them anytime they want. So you can see no one has a priestess. There's only one soldier left in the deck, or it might be over there. The general's already been played, so no one has the general. The princess is unaccounted for. Both of the knights are unaccounted for. The clowns are unaccounted for. Now, if the game had continued on, unless all the rest of the cards have been played, and both players are still in the round, they would both reveal their cards, and the person with the higher rank, that is the person with the higher number right here, would win. So the person with the minister in their hand would win. There's the priestess. If you ever have the priestess in your hand, and you're forced to discard her, either by a wizard or a soldier. I think those are the only 2 effects that would make you discard the princess, but you would be out of the round. You have to protect her. But if you get to the end of the round where there's no cards left, you win automatically because she's the highest rank. So one other cool thing, and I think this is really funny about the game, you're going to notice, if you've been paying attention, I pulled out a couple extra cards. This confused me at first. This actually took me a while to figure out why these cards were here, because there's only supposed to be 16 cards, but there's 2 princesses and a prince. I didn't get that. But here's how it works. It just gives you an option. You can play the redhead princess, or you can exchange it for the sexy librarian princess, or if you like the lads, you can go with the prince. They all do the same thing. So it's a really cool game. I highly recommend it, especially if you're going to be playing with kids. It's good for all ages, really. Adults love this game too. If you're playing with adults, you know, you're going to be able to play it for a while and it'll still be fun. If you're playing with kids like between 10 and 14, you're going to be able to play it time and time again, and it's still going to be fun. You're going to notice like how beat up these cards are. It's because we played it so much. So I highly recommend this link, and if you look down below, you'll see the link to where you can buy it on Amazon. Thanks.